I've been going down a zero waste rabbit hole recently, and I wanted to see if I could recreate one of Vivienne Westwood's iconic designs using zero waste pattern cutting methods, but also using one of my most treasured 1930s fabrics. Over on my Patreon, I did a tutorial all about using just a very little amount of fabric, meterage or so of fabric, and using zero waste methodologies, pattern cutting concepts to create really lovely clothes, vintage inspired, but also designer inspired. And one of these tops was by the late great Dame Viv, who's one of my favourite designers, alongside Elsa Schiaparelli. So I came up with some ideas and we had a great time. I made one of Dame Viv's zero waste blouses in a quarter scale for my petite Mildred, and I really loved it, and I thought that it would just be a great idea to use this particular method to use up some of my very precious 1930s vintage fabrics that I've been trying to find patterns for and just absolutely can't, because I don't want to waste a single centimetre of this fabric. So zero waste it is. And I challenged myself, can I make something that's really wearable, that fits into my sort of vintage inspired wardrobe, and yet I feel very elevated and not frumpy. Vivienne Westwood's really known for her very feminine designs, obviously the punk stuff way back in the 70s. I always think of Vivienne Westwood as being a designer who's deeply rooted in historicism, historical references and pattern cutting, and a lot of historical pattern cutting was very concerned with creating clothes using the most efficient use of the fabric, because fabric was such a precious commodity, often worth more than its weight in gold. It was used as a currency in essence. We have a very different perspective of fabric these days, although I personally feel that we shouldn't have. So many of Vivienne Westwood's designs, even though they're very form-fitting, actually use rectangles of fabrics that are then just draped onto the body. Not all of her designs and products are rooted in this sort of sustainability. She spent the last part of her career very focused on activism, so that's something that I really wanted to explore, creating feminine elegant shapes that had a level of va-va-voom to them, but then I was still honouring the cloth. The other thing that I really like about this method, this zero waste method, where you're not wasting a single bit of the cloth, is if you get tired of the garment or you decide that you would prefer it as something else, you've still got all the fabric there. You may have cut certain seams and have to sort of work around that, but actually that fabric that is so precious can simply be reused in a very easy way. It's much harder to do that with more engineered pattern pieces that we're used to sewing with today. I'm going to take you through the methodology of this, so how I worked out my measurements and then how I'm sewing the zero waste blouse. And what I really am also aiming for is a very quick project. I want something that's not going to take me very long, so in a sense it's sort of sustainable in terms of time. You're not wasting your time. How many times have we made something and then actually not liked it? Really, we want to honour our time, we want to honour the cloth, and then we want to really love the thing that we make. I'm really excited about this, and am I going to really love my Dame Viv inspired zero waste top? Well, let's see. First step is to get some measurements. So I measured my bust, which was more ample than I had thought it would be, and then I measured the length that I wanted the blouse to be. So I went from my front shoulder to the finished length over the fullest part of my bust, and that ended up being 65 centimetres. So I doubled that measurement to get 130, which is the full length of the front and the back. I remeasured around my bust, adding ease, and I used 10 centimetres of ease, and then I added
the seam allowance of 1.5 as well. So I ended up having a measurement of 132, and I divided it by 2 so that I had the front and the back, which was 66 centimetres. So I ended up with a rectangle that measured 66 centimetres by 130. The lovely thing about zero waste is that you can just plot the measurements onto the fabric and cut and sew. There's no cutting out patterns or any of the shenanigans that usually accompany sewing. Obviously, shenanigans in my house are to remove Ghost from his role as overseer of the sewing kingdom. Luckily, this fabric from the 1930s, a really beautiful sort of cheeseclothy gauze, has got this grid pattern on, so that did make cutting out much easier. I measured the halfway point and then cut up the amount I needed. So I'd worked out that the front opening was going to be 22 centimetres. So I basically cut up to the lowest point of the neck opening, which I really hope makes sense. And then either side of that centre line, along what is the neck shoulder line, I cut 13 centimetres each side, making the back neck measurement 26 centimetres in total. I just double checked all my measurements because what we're going to do is re-sew that centre front seam. So I made sure that it was definitely 22 centimetres, and then I fold right sides together so that I can pin that centre front seam together. I then put right sides together, folding along the neckline, and I worked out that I wanted my armhole depth to be about 22 centimetres as well. So I left that open but pinned those side seams, and then the next thing was to sew it all together. So time to try this on. It's a really very quick project. Someone's joining me here just in time. So this is where we're at, and actually you could so easily just leave it at this. Sorry, tail. He has no respect for YouTubeling. But I'm gonna do a little belt out of the fabric. I think Vivienne Westwood's version of this, or her top that I am making a version of, is actually much wider. So I added 12 centimeters ease to my bust measurement, and actually I probably would add about 20 if I were making this again, but I didn't really want something completely oversized. I want it to look a bit elevated. Obviously you can see one's bra in here, but I'm not particularly bothered about things like that. So yeah, So I'm going to hem it, and I'm going to stitch down the inside. I mean, you could, if you want to, this is so versatile, you could actually put a little collar on and have this as like a little feature. And even, you know, the fact that it's kind of draping here is très Vivienne. I actually really like that. That's something to think about. But that's where I've got to. And I'm going to resume in the morning. Sorry, Mildred. What I'm going to do now that I've pressed the seams open, I'm not finishing them. I suppose I should or could, but I'm not going to. I'm making this as simply as possible. I'm just going to top stitch the armholes and leave these. You could pink them, you could overlock, whatever. I just, in this instance, I'm not going to. And I've got the back neck. Now I could just fold that over, but I feel like it needs a little bit more structure. I've had a doodle around in my ribbon box and found a very little bit of cotton bias, so I'm gonna put bias on that back neck, but then I'm just gonna top stitch that down. I suppose I could top stitch all the way around and kind of make a feature like this. I mean, that's an option, haven't decided yet. And I will hem it, but that's what I'm about to do now. Put this bias binding on first and then top stitch the armholes and have a think about this collar thing. It really is one of life's luxuries to be able to sit and sew undisturbed, alone with one's thoughts, as often as one possibly can. I bias bound the back of the neckline. I don't know if this was the best way of doing it, but it certainly gave stability to the back neck, as this fabric was really quite stretchy, and I did encounter a little bit of an issue on the neckline that when I top stitched it, it did ripple a little bit, so it did stretch ever so slightly, but luckily I was able to put a bit of steam on it and just carefully manipulate it back into place, and it seemed to sit quite nicely. And then I moved on to making a belt to go with this, although I think actually some kind of contrasting belt would look amazing with it. I simply used whatever fabric I had left and created a long tie belt, really, really simple to do. Et voila, the top is actually completed. I think all in all this took about 45 minutes to measure myself, draft out the rectangle on the fabric and then sew, including all the top stitching. And then with the tie belt, it probably was just about 1 hour and 20 minutes, which I think is a really fabulous little palette cleansing amount of time. I love the fact that the fabric is vintage and I've got myself a one-off designer piece using the most sustainable method of sewing as possible, and the fabric goes so well with my Deauville trousers. I also think I would like to wear it with a dirndl skirt. I think that would look absolutely fabulous, but I don't have a dirndl skirt that matches with this particular print and colourway. I think the zero waist blouse is really adaptable because you could just wear it as a t-shirt, or you can tie it and do the blouse on effect and get a different look. You could actually wear it the other way around and have the V at the back if you want. And of course you could make it much longer and create a kaftan style dress. I'm giving myself 11 out of 10 for this project because I'm thrilled with it. I've had a great time working on this project and I hope you've enjoyed it too. As ever, my lovelies, thank you for taking the time to spend the time with me here in my little cottage by the sea. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you are taking very good care of yourself, and I shall see you very soon. Bye.